r/AskReddit, what's normal in your country that's considered weird in others? NZ, going to the shops without shoes. I grew up in Australia and migrated to Ireland about 10 years ago. First thing I noticed was people in Ireland really like to talk about death in everyday conversation. Who died? When the masses, the removal of the body and the anniversaries of their death. It's so normal in conversation. In AUS it's rather taboo. There's a difference in the tone of conversation when talking about death. While driving, blowing your horn when you see someone you know driving on the other side, or to say thank you to someone for letting you out. Since I moved to Canada, it seems horns are only used for aggressive reasons. Going full speed whatever the vehicle gives you on the highway. Leaving a baby bundled up outside to sleep. When my previous neighbors had a baby, sometimes I would pass it on the porch, just sleeping, including in winter as long as it's not too cold. Edit. To answer common questions, it's quite safe. You can have a monitor in with the baby, and even if you do live somewhere with lynx, bears, wolves etc., which I do, these animals are very shy of human settlements and I've never heard of a baby being hurt or killed in that way. As for abduction, well, crime is quite low in the Nordic countries, where this practice is most common, and most child abductions in general are committed by one of the parents or another family member, so the chances of a stranger snatching your baby are hugely low. I wasn't born here, but moved here, and at first I was mildly surprised by this practice, but it seems normal now. I might not recommend it in places with more crime, or where it's not the norm. Americans wouldn't want a CPS visit for instance, but it's perfectly fine here, and the babies do sleep pretty soundly. Walking everywhere barefoot including supermarkets and cafes, swimsuits being perfectly acceptable attire within a 2/4 kilometers radius of a water source. Edit. For how Kiwis reference acceptable togs wearing, see source, https://udo.b/h, lx2 of gbc. In Japan, there are public toilets in a few places where after urinating, you can opt to view a general health assessment report. Edited. I have seen this not only in Japan but also in hotels in Dubai. Some info here. USA Today, https://www.usatoday.com/story/tech/2019/12/18/smart. Toilet, technology, could, check, urine, detect, diseases, early/4408106002/. 11 official languages. I live in Malaysia. Nearly everyone here uses at least 3 languages in a sentence. X, hi, can I anasai lemak, take away. There's this sport in Finland called jalkapallo, where men participate in running a specific distance, all while carrying their wife or girlfriend. Winner gets their woman's weight in beer. Having dinner late, usually around 9 p.m. Probably talking to people so that no one else can hear you except the person you are directly talking to. It's a skill almost all Dutch people have, I have found, but it can be very unnerving for other people because you can be sitting pretty close to 2 people having a conversation and have no idea what they are saying. It's a small country and very densely populated with people who value their privacy. It's a survival skill, really. Arranged marriages. Go into a hot room naked, get out, and jump into water, repeat. Pointing things using lips. Calling your mate a cunt and calling some cunt mate. Saying hi or waving to strangers. Some areas in the country take it even further and you're considered rude if you drive through a residential street and don't wave to anyone walking as you pass them. Alcoholism and eating spuds for at least 1 meal a day. Sacrificing our firstborn for the Queen's immortality. Walking all over the countryside along ancient footpaths, as well as bridleways and byways, and a lot of disused railway tracks that have been designated as footpaths. These paths often go across privately owned land. The landowners are required by law to keep the paths clear, and if they put up a fence to provide a gate. If you're walking with a dog, you're expected to keep it under control around livestock and when the path crosses a road. But otherwise it's just accepted that dogs are going to run around sniffing everything. Some of these paths have been continuously in use for thousands of years. Instead of toilet paper, we use a handheld jet spray type thing to clean after shitting. Also our milk comes in bags. Edit. I'm Indian for everyone who wants to know. And the mic bags look like this. Having someone fill up your gas tank for you. We have robots at busy intersections and crossing points to assist and control traffic flow. Nonchalantly invading Ukraine. Living with parents in their house, or much older ancestral house, even after being an adult, includes being married, having kinds everything. We can kiss even among guys and family. To say hello, there's a tradition, not sure how observed anymore, where if a lost child is found at the beach, an adult will pick them up on their shoulders and go up and down the coast clapping. People on the beach will also clap with them, so the parents will more easily find their child. Argentina. I wrote about how Turkish people really like to watch construction work in another question once, and a non-Turkish person told me it was depressing. Wake up, get drunk, go on a train halfway across the country with thousands of other drunk guys, sing random songs and chants, watch 22 men kick a ball around for 90 minutes, get either upset or happy about it, go to the pub and get more drunk, go home, repeat next weekend. Bidets. I teach in Japan, but grew up in America. The other day my students asked me why'd if Americans really wear their shoes inside. I told them yes, and that sometimes my dad would cross his legs like this while we sat on the sofa and I could touch the bottom of his shoes. They were super grossed out. Ew, why would you wear shoes inside? That's so dirty. These kids are second graders, so it starts pretty young. Surplus of ice. Went on a trip to Italy. Asking for ice is like asking the manager to dim the lights more. Calling people not related to you uncle/auntie, raising your palm while crossing the road, stalls by the roadside selling fried foods, fruits, drinks etc. Used to be a normal amount, maybe 1 or 2 in front of shop lots, but since a lot of people lost their jobs, they've taken to opening these type of stalls. Edit. Sorry, I should have probably included where in my original comment. It's Malaysia. Saying sorry all the time, even when you didn't do anything wrong. Putting mayonnaise on a combination of random ingredients and calling it salad. Celebrating Christmas on the 24th, not talking to strangers or neighbors unless it's an emergency, or you're drunk, taking off your shoes before entering a home. Edit. It's Sweden. Rushing home to cut the grass before it snows during a tornado watch. Cheese in a spray can. Tipping your waiter because you feel obliged to, not because you think they did a good job. Treating strangers in a way like you would treat your friends and family. We're not formal in any way and tourists often get offended because of this. Sunday isn't part of the weekend, most kids go to school, and everything is open. Touching elders' feet. I live in Germany. When you are in a public transport, the bus for example, and you have to get out at the next station, you don't say anything, you just start to make some noises and change your posture so that the person next to you can read you body language, and I think that's beautiful. In the Philippines we sometimes eat our food on banana leaves, otherwise we eat it off the floor. JK. Asking somebody if they're alright and their answer is you alright. Eating raw ground pork, with raw onions if you're cult you'd. Rushing to buy KFC as soon as COVID-19 restrictions are announced. Eating horse meat, told a few American friends about it and they were appalled because they considered horses more like pets. The amount of subservience to the ruling class in the UK, lots of European countries off their monarchs following after France, we kept ours and most of our aristocracy. Then you look at the countless revolutions across history and stuff like America fighting for independence and you realize, shit, the UK has barely challenged their rulers at all in comparison. Beans on toast. I went to Japan and I found some of the outfits weird. I have a friend, 28, F, who dresses like a young girl. For example, she's worn pigtails, a schoolgirl skirt, a cartoon unicorn graphic tee, a backpack that's so tiny it can't possibly be useful, glitter pink Mary Jane's, a Victorian-style baby dress. Obviously she doesn't dress like that to work, but just as her normal everyday clothes, there were also other women who dressed like that. In America, if a grown woman, 25 plus, dressed in any of things, it would 100% be weird. In Japan, it's just a normalized style of dressing. No fences between houses, it's almost considered rude to put up a fence. In Britain we thank the bus drivers. Apparently this doesn't happen in Europe, based on what I've been told by foreign friends. Having French fries as a main meal with maybe some fried meat or cheese as a side. Still using the imperial system instead of the metric system. Kissing elderly people's hand and putting it to our forehead. They get upset if you don't do it and sometimes pressure you by holding their hand up the whole time. Pre-COVID OFC, not old people, just stay away. I never saw any foreign movie where this is a case, so I guess only Middle Easterners do it. Everything stops during the siren on 2 Memorial Days, including cars on highways. Everyone stands up and stays till the siren ends. Milk in a bag. Constantly apologizing, even though you haven't done something wrong. Eating the worst foods for your body. Teeth brighter than light mode on Discord. Having the worst esports team in every game, even if we are obsessed with them. That is also weird. Using the most contradictory language in existence, or at least one of. Using the month/day/year date system. Using the imperial system of measurement. Telling people side effects that are too horrible to be true in medical advertisements. The sheer number of commercials everywhere. Going into debt being easier than breathing. Being taxed by buying anything. Shall I go on? Leaving babies outside in strollers. Saying sorry when you haven't done something wrong and thank people for thanking you. Turo Rudi. It's a very common and well-loved Hungarian dessert. It consists of a 25g bar of cottage cheese and it's covered in dark chocolate traditionally, but there are several variations too. Almost everyone loves it here. Everybody knows what's this. We had a Turo Rudi McFlurry some years ago, but when I explain it to foreigners they don't get the appeal. Edit. Spelling. So like apparently it's weird to kiss someone on both cheeks when you first meet them. In Spain this is the rule, and you are seen as impolite if you don't do it. Svartapede. Living with parents is common in India. People aren't considered losers for living with their parents. I never understood why being 30 and living with your parents was considered as something bad. Talking to strangers on public transport. This depends on region, though. Congratulating everyone present at a birthday party with the person whose birthday it is. Eating organs and other things of animals, and yes, some people eat balls. I'm from Montenegro. People here eat lunch at 12:00 am and eat dinner at 8:00 p.m. Flashing headlights to oncoming traffic to indicate that there are traffic cops ahead. Greeting people with hi, how are you, and not actually expecting any answer apart from good. Metbrachin. Your reaction to seeing a giant spider in your house is to give it a nickname and go about your day. You alert other housemates to the spider, to make sure everyone uses the correct nickname. Can't say for every country that have and use saunas extensively, but, going to a sauna in Finland you do so butt naked, no towel around your waist, nothing, even in public saunas. In public saunas it's mandatory to use a towel or a disposable cover to sit on for hygiene reasons. Also heavy amount of water on the sauna stove so the heat really get going. No minuscule amount of water that couldn't even hydrate a cactus, but at least child's plastic buckets worth of water in a span of 7-10 minutes. In Germany we have Flaschenpfand. You basically pay 25 cents extra each bottle, but you will get that money back if you return the bottle, which is nice for the environment and such. Some homeless people get by solely through collecting thrown away Pfand bottles. In some cities there are actual fights over Pfand territory. Being in a warm room naked and sweaty with strangers. Not being brave enough to rebel against an authoritarian government, where the leaders live like oligarchs with basically their own football stadiums and trains, yet 1 out of 3 children is raised in poverty. Driving for 6 hours without crossing a state line. Not doing cultural appropriation. Apparently, if you ask in r/Mexico if it is bad for ex-co-worker to be wearing a sombrero or something, people would get mad at you because we think that CA is nonsense. Drinking beer with 16, having 100 different breads, waiting at a red lamp at 3 a.m. even though there are no cars, and driving with 300 kilometers per hour. Brazil, we use electric showeriads to bath several times a day when it's too hot. We also hug more than any other people is comfortable with apparently. Also in some places here is common to eat spaghetti with rice and beans in the same meal. Definitely not everywhere though. What else? We use pressure cookers a lot, not the electric ones, the ones you put on the fire in the stove. Almost every home has one and we use it frequently to cook beans. We are dental hygiene freaks. Brazil is the country with most dentists per capita. It's not uncommon to see people brushing their teeth in the office bathroom after lunch. We have a lot of law schools, more than all the other countries combined. Why? I don't know. We have more than 3 times the number of law school graduates than the US, but less than a third of those graduates are actual lawyers registered at the bar. Most people study law to go work with something else. Having your country, state, and other flags everywhere and then pledging allegiance to said flag every morning at school. We even plaster our flags on shirts, pants, towels, underwear, hats, etc. Going for a coffee with a friend and sitting at the coffee shop for 3 hours minimum. I live in the US and I'd say our portion sizes are bigger than usual. Go to any other country and it would be a lot smaller than what it is in the US. Biking everywhere, without a helmet. +1 point for you if you know where I'm from XX. Bagged milk, I don't think I need to tell y'all where I'm from. You've made it through the whole video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more videos every day. I upload 2 videos every single day.